chief can stop people who are criminals from being criminals. The government's checkbook is not going to solve the problems that we have. We are never going to get anywhere until you decide that you individually care enough about your community to do something about it.
910 AM Superstation. We're the hottest station in town. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media.
Good morning, Metro Detroit. Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is 6 o'clock in the morning. If you've got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 1 hour to get there. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. I'm going to echo one thing that you're going to hear over and over and over again. The weather quality, the air quality has been horrible for the last couple of days. Today is going to be the same. If in fact you have, as I saw one of our community advocates is posted that he had an asthma attack earlier this morning. Listen, yesterday I wore my mask while I was out in public, and I can tell you the difference between the amount of junk that I felt in my throat and in my nose and in my eyes, the difference between 2 days ago and yesterday. When I'm inside or when I'm wearing my mask, when I'm outside, I'm fine. If I'm outside and I'm not wearing my mask, I'm not fine. So I can tell you the difference. There's definitely I don't know if I want to say a stench, but an amount of garbage, air pollution that you're going to deal with when you're outside, out and about today. The weather forecasters say that, this morning is going to be a slight bit better, not to the point of improvement, not to the point of going around without a mask, but that apparently because of the way that the wind is blowing, horrible, the worst world in the worst air in the world, will be back with us later on today. So if you've got outside adventures planned for this afternoon, postpone them. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. And as far as those texts about do we have any update on Minister Shabazz, keep praying. That's all that I can tell you is keep praying at this point. I've not seen anything. I saw one post by somebody yesterday that said something. I'm not sure that the post was not from a member of the family. And so I'm not real sure that I'm going to put any stock in it one way or the other until there's an official announcement that things are going one way or the other. We're going to keep praying. And even again, well, at least I know that prayer changes things, and I'm asking all of you to do the same thing. He's an important part of not just the station and not just the community, but as evidenced by the fact that he was receiving a Presidential Lifetime Leadership Award. Folks all over the world appreciate the fact that that Minister Malik Shabazz has his commitment and his hard work reaches all over the place. I talked to a friend of mine at home. Y'all know that I'm from Chicago, and that after we moved off the west side, I moved out to Maywood, and I reached out to a friend of mine because I know that Minister Shabazz is friends and regularly is in touch with Fred Hampton, the current chair of the Black Panther Party, because you know that Minister Shabazz runs the Black Panther chapter as well as the New Marcus Garvey movement. And so there are folks all over the world who are praying with us. And I'm asking you to do the same thing. Continue to pray. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. So the last few days, I've seen quite a number of articles. So I had to check to make sure that I wasn't reading the same article over and over again. And I wasn't. There are several different articles about recent events in the last, I'm from the articles that I've read, probably the last 2 3 weeks, with parents who have confronted. Apparently, either one parent confronted on the school bus, one went into the school and confronted the bully who had been bullying their child. And I'm not quite sure that that is the appropriate way to handle it as as someone who represented a lot of people and I was a criminal defense attorney for a while, a long while, very long while. I represented several people who were in that position and who got so fed up, so frustrated with the fact that the school administration was not handling the problem, and they didn't cure the problem at all. They took no real steps towards getting their child out of the position of being bullied. That the parent felt frustrated, and the parent wound up acting out, and as a result, the parent wound up being the one charged with a crime. And so, I mean, it's easy for society to say, we're going to charge you with a crime because that's not the way you should handle it. What I very rarely hear, almost non existent, is any real advice on the real way to handle the problem. Bullying happens, y'all. And there's, I mean, bullying happens the same way the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It happens because there are people out there that feel, for one reason or another, that they're going to take their life's frustrations out on the next person and whoever they wind up seeing. And we teach them, yes, we, all of us, teach the younger generation and even our coworkers that once they see somebody who they believe is a victim, hey, that's red meat. Go back and attack them all over again. That's somebody. That's a good place that you can go and you can get away with actually bullying somebody. Bullying is a learned behavior. You don't come out of the womb knowing how to do that. You don't come out of the womb. Now understand this. There's no college class on it. There is no, high school etiquette lessons on how you should actually bully somebody. There's also no college class or no, real seminars or anything on how and actually you're supposed to handle it. Everybody, I've met a lot of people who are very confident in telling you, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. That's not the way you should have handled it. You handled it wrong. But I don't actually hear anybody try and walk anybody through how they actually should happen, how they actually should handle the situation when it happens. So let me ask you a question. Your child comes home on day one crying. You try to soothe them a little bit. Child comes home on day two. You pick up the phone, you call the principal, probably try and talk to the teacher. Child comes home on day three, problem's not been solved. Teacher actually was too busy. They didn't bother returning your call or your text message or your email. Child comes home on day four, still crying, this time bloody nose. I need to know from y'all. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. How do you handle it? What are you going to do next? What do you tell your child to do? Now, I understand that there are those folks in our audience that believe that, Carrie, you're old school and that's not the way we're supposed to handle things. I didn't have to try to figure out how to handle it. There were two folks in my life that told me exactly how to handle a bully. And ready for this, y'all, they both were women. One was my grandmother, my father's mother, and the other was my mother. And so we actually sat down, had a talk, and there were steps that were laid out as to how you handle it the first time, how you handle it the second time, how you handle it the third time. Now I'm not going to tell y'all over the air exactly what I was told to do when. But let me just tell you this: not only did it stick with me, those are the exact same steps that I taught my kids. And you know, having raised three different kids, I'll tell you this, they all three handle it differently. Not one of them, not one of them, not one of those three take exactly the same steps that I would take towards handling the problem. Um, but the truth of the matter is, we and we raise kids and we teach them one thing. We tell them this is what I, as a parent, am supposed to tell you to do. These are the steps you're supposed to take when you're faced with these adversities, whether you're in school and later on, on the playground, and later on, you're going to wind up dealing with these things when you get to work. And you then I think you're supposed to do at that point. At least what I was taught is you're as the parent supposed to sit back and try to reinforce it, but you got to send them out there to handle that problem. They've got to decide on their own when the line has been crossed, when it's time to gently push back, and when it's time to sock somebody in the eye. Period. They've got to. Society tells you too many different things. They tell you go out, stand up for yourself, fight back all of the time. Don't let nobody push you around. But the very second that you actually do it, then they have somebody knocking on your door with a uniform on and a gun on their side saying, we need to talk to you. We want to get your side of the story. Please come go with us, get in the back of this car. I don't think we should keep giving people mixed messages. I think that we should, as adults, handle it the adult way, which is we should all have at least some basic formula, what I received from my mother and my grandmother, some basic formula on how you handle it the first time, how you handle it when the problem persists, and how you actually, what steps you should take, or when you should actually, decide to say, okay, I've had enough. Had all I'm going to take. I'm not taking any more. And that this is that third step. If in fact you can show that step one happened and you reported it, and step two happened and you reported it on up the chain, and step three happened and you said, all right, I'm done reporting it. I'm going to handle it. And when you get to that stage of I've done it still, I reported it one time and I reported it two and I reported it a third time, and I decided that I was going to handle it. There should not be people showing up at your door knocking saying, we need to get your side of the story. There should not be any of this. We're going to send you to HR. There should not be any of the, you didn't handle it right. That's not the way that you should have handled that situation. We need to learn to give clear, very understandable things that everybody agrees on, set of directions on how you handle it. Today, if you just tuned in, today I want to talk about bullying. I want to talk about, as opposed to reading stories that says one parent went to the school and went inside the school and confronted their child's bully. Another story that says one parent went onto the school bus, waited by this guy. Listen, y'all, I've been that parent. I've been sitting there with the line of cars waiting on the school bus to pull up. And can you imagine, you about 7, 8 cars deep, y'all all sitting there waiting on the school bus to pull up. So your kids all file off the bus. One parent jumps out of the car, runs across the school bus, and runs up onto the school bus looking for the bully. I mean, come on. What happens if the bully is a small child? What happens if the bully is 6 feet tall and 200 pounds? I mean, is there a difference? When do you decide that I'm not going to sit still and I'm not going to take it? And then if we're going to wind up setting rules, I think that there needs to be some sort of responsibility on us to decide that we're going to put these rules into place and we're all going to follow them. That's what I want to talk about when we come back on the other side of the break. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Today I'm going to talk about bullying. How you handle it, when you handle it, what steps are appropriate, and also what's going too far. 313-778-7600. I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Shara, the number's 313-778-7600. I need you on the phone. Stop being shy. Get on the phone.
Join WSBF 9 10 a.m. Superstation as we bring you the Rocket Mortgage Classic from the Detroit Golf Club. Listen live Thursday, June 29th and Friday, June 30th
from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in Saturday, July 1st and Sunday, July 2nd from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will not want to miss any of this golf action. 9:10 a.m. Superstation will only carry the Rocket Mortgage Classic on terrestrial radio.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials. And, you know, you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads. Have you thought about advertising your business on our 9:10 a.m. Superstation? Our audience is bigger than ever, and your investment will be lower than ever. Find out how you can grow your business. Give us a call during business hours and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. We will tell your story, and more folks than ever before will come to your door. 248-357-4566. Ask for Henry. The super audience at our 910 Superstation wants to hear about you. Call now.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 a.m. Superstation, Metro Detroit only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Theo. Good morning, Theo. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and happy Thursday to you. I'm glad you're talking about school this morning. I agree with you that there should be protocol for bullying, and I also think that the schools could do a better job if they would reinstitute those vocational classes that gives young children something else to focus on. Because when their minds are idle, they just come up with all kind of stupid stuff. And that would be helpful. The two other things for education. One, there was a white woman who kidnapped 4 black kids. The police, luckily for the children, did discover what was going on. And I wondered if you had any update on what has happened, particularly with her. And then lastly, congratulations to Dr. S.P. from the state of Texas, who's going to be the next president of Wayne State University. We're told that she engages the community, which is one of the things we needed from Wayne State administration. And the outgoing president, I'm glad that he's outgoing.
Why?
Good morning.
Why?
Well, he had not been engaging to the with the community, and had some.
You realize that there are some board members at Wayne State that disagree with you. They think he was doing an entirely great job. There are other board members that totally disagree. I mean, you know, almost violently disagree.
They
But
weren't there day to day either. Okay, there were issues with the medical school. I had information on that, and also I met with him, introduced him to a heart surgeon who wanted to speak with the medical students, and the kind of response that he gave was totally unacceptable. Anyway, but those are just a couple of experiences that I can report on personally. Anyway, I'm looking forward to learning that the new incoming president will be a woman who will engage with the community and provide better opportunities for the young folks in Detroit. Because one of the things he said was he didn't have to have the school, how did he put it? I can't think of the words at this moment, but it did not have to show the demographics of the city of Detroit. I'm like, this is a trip. You had no concern for the black kids here in this city. That's the bottom line.
okay.
Okay.
And as far as your other question goes, I don't have any personal knowledge on where her case stands at the moment. I know that the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office charged her. I remember other callers had given us some information, probably a little bit, maybe a couple of months ago. I have no idea what status he is now. But I do know that you can always call Maria Miller at the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. She is the public information. Even though she's a sworn prosecutor, she's also the office's public information person, and she will tell you where at least the stuff that's public, where you can find out, who the person is that was charged, what stage it's in, if there's a pretrial. If in fact, is there a trial date set? Are they looking forward to a trial date? And who the prosecutor is that's handling the case? All of that information you can get from calling the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. But with all of the crap that I've got going on in my day, I don't get a chance to keep up with all of the criminal cases. I mean, we unfortunately, I wish we didn't have as many criminal cases in our community. But unfortunately, there are cases that happen every single day. And since I'm no longer in a position to have to keep going into that building every day, that building gave me 5 ulcers, Theo. Okay. 5 ulcers and 2 divorces. I drive past that building, I started to shake now. So I don't really want to have to go down there if I don't need to. All right. All right. Have a good day. Thanks for calling. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Ashara.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ashara. Thank you for deciding to actually call the show instead of just commenting in the feed. I appreciate that. Now, go ahead. We were talking about bullying this morning.
Yeah, so I've experienced, as a parent, having a child who's being bullied, and I just noticed that the schools tend to favor the bullies. As from my own experience, and then I currently have a friend whose daughter is experiencing some bullying in school, and my situation was, gosh, at least more than 10 years ago, but things are worse now, it seems, because not only is the school of my friend's daughter's school tending to favor the bully and kind of ignore her daughter's reporting and pleas and things like that, but they are using terms like snitching with these children. The teachers have been heard saying things like no snitching and calling children snitches whenever they report.
Wow. Now, so here's the thing: people are human, and so the particular school system that you're talking about, that particular school, it works the same way as a computer: garbage in, garbage out. If the people that go to work there don't actually have the ability to discern and not use those terms, or to at least follow a regular policy, because the school that my kids attended, I mean, they encourage, they would have that. Now that's something they had a bullying policy. They would always at the beginning of the year try to sit down with all of the kids, like in an assembly, and say, you're supposed to come in. And whenever things like that happen, I know that they would always, before they even talk to the parents, they conduct their own quote unquote investigation. They'd go out and talk to all the kids. Now they would not do, when I was younger, of course we knew the names, and the parents would know the names. The schools go out of their way to protect kids' names because it's the law now. So they're not, they won't even tell the media, this is the name of that person, any of the other stuff. They try and they're following the law, and a lot of stuff they're keeping secret from even the parents, where they won't tell you the name of, we'll send a note home that says, there was a threat at the school today. That's all we can tell you. We're not going to tell you if it was a gun or a bomb. We're not going to tell you the name of it or anything like that. Yeah. Some administrators are a little crazy, but I mean, it's up to the administration, the principal, the vice principal, or the assistant principal, and all of the teachers to at least walk lockstep with the fact that we need the kids to decide to say that. And so if you've got teachers and administration that are saying, we're going to tell the kids, y'all don't snitch, we don't tell them to other people, then we got a bigger problem. Those folks in that school, you've got to go talk to somebody at the school board and say, what on earth is going on over here at this school, and what the administration is saying.
That's what I told her. Yeah, that's what I told her, because I said, it sounds like it's really a horribly mixed message situation, because the school does have a no bullying policy like every other school, and they do say things like, oh, no, we don't tolerate bullying here. But at the same time, they are very dismissive of the reporters who are being bullied. And I remember, just like I said, with my own child years ago, they had those policies in place. This was one of the top schools in the nation. I lived in Nebraska at the time, and this was elementary school, number 2 in the nation. And they were extremely dismissive, but it was also, I think, because where we lived, it was probably due to some underlying racism. They didn't want to acknowledge the fact that they didn't really care that a young black boy was complaining about these white kids bullying him. But ultimately, I pulled him out of school. But before that, he reported several times, and it was ignored. And at one point, a child sharpened a pencil as sharp as he could, and used it as a weapon.
As a weapon to stab somebody with.
To try to stab my son with it. My son did pull away, but he still caught his arm, and it dragged down his arm. So he went to the nurse's office, and the woman apparently told him to go wash it off.
Not understand that there's not lead stuck inside this child's arm. So do me a favor. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I got to take a break. Okay. Don't go anywhere. We're going to finish up when we come back on the other side of the break, y'all. It's the second break of the morning. It's a very quick break. We'll be right back.
all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000 watt urban radio station in town. 910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming on Mondays at 8 p.m. Catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38. The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside of Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listen to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Ashara, my question. You said you pulled your child out of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to do that? Because let me just tell you this, and for those of y'all that are listening, this has become common. Parents do this on a regular basis of saying, you know what, if that particular school's not going to get it right, I'm taking my kid out of that school. I'm voting with my feet. I'm taking my child to another school somewhere else where it's not going to have to face this problem. But when you pull the child out of one school and you take them to the other school, what happens when the problem shows up at the other school?
Actually, the first issue is my son was just not, he was not heeding our advice in the situation.
So you know what I started out this with is I wanted to know what was your advice. So what do you tell your kid? How do you tell your kid? What's your first gut instinct? At least the first thing, not the knock their teeth out, but what's the first thing you do to try and tell your child in terms of handling the bullying?
Okay, so I want to make it clear that the bullying situation was not my only reason for pulling my son out of public school. I actually homeschooled all of my children after that, for a few reasons, but that was definitely a motivating factor. The first thing that I would tell him is, to try to handle the situation himself. You know, like I did tell him at first, I'm sorry, I'll go back. I did tell him at first to report it, but when I realized the reporting didn't matter, I said, okay, well, you're going to have to deal with these kids. And he would be so concerned about the school policy. What would happen? If I do something, I'm going to get in trouble. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly the school is not helping. When you report what they're doing isn't helping the situation. And so you have to be able to stand up for yourself no matter who else is going to stand in or not. So he just would be upset with me for telling him to handle it, whether it was verbally or physically, usually physically, because he felt like that was the way to get in the most trouble, although he did get in trouble for standing up for himself in any regard. So it was just, it became a matter of he was getting upset with us for telling him to defend himself.
Oh, listen to me. Listen. I am sitting here. I'm reliving it all through exact same thing. One child. Well, the first one handled it. You know, I laid out. Listen, first you report it to the teacher. Second, you report it to the office. Third time, you knock the teeth out. And that child handled it that way. And so when I got the phone call that she'd actually handled things with her fist, I went to school and I said, she told y'all on that day, right? I know she did, because I called and checked and made sure that y'all knew then. And the teacher had been told, and y'all took no steps. My child ain't in no trouble at all. Y'all need to understand. She did exactly what I told her to do. This is the way to handle it. The thing is, she decided that was going to be her policy from now on. I'm going to do this 1, 2, bow. Third time is going to be physical. So that in her senior year, when she handled it physically, by the time I got to the school, because they called me to let me know, and all of the other kids were calling my phone. I think I've told this story on the air before. By the time I got there, they had actually, you're right, they decided to protect. They had printed out the steel frame of showing that my child handled it, but she handled it right in front of the video camera. So they had the video thing, and they knew that I was coming prepared to say, listen, I told y'all got a responsibility. You got a job here. And if you don't do it, I mean, the kid's going to come to school. She's got a right to be safe. You either going to keep her safe or she's going to fix it for herself. I taught each one of my kids that because that's the way I was taught. I also told them, because when the youngest child, because it's an entirely different wife who believed in handling it a different way, said, oh no, I can't wind up doing it that way. I had to explain. In life, you're always going to wind up, if I pull you out of here and put you in another school, there's going to be a bully there. Later on in life at a job, there's going to be a bully there. In life, you're going to have to learn that first you try to handle it the rational way, and then you try to escalate it and still try to handle it calmly and things. But after a while, when somebody keeps getting to that point, you're going to wind up having to handle it with your fist. And you know, that's where my ex and I disagreed. But my son finally, he figured that out. But, you know, I didn't think that pulling the child out would be the right thing to do. But that's only my opinion. I don't want to judge for you. And it sounds like, as you just said, that your child's physical safety was only one reason that you decided to homeschool. I got to assume that the others are that the schools just were failing miserably in terms of teaching the children exactly the things that you thought the child needed to do, and you thought you could do a better job at home.
Yes, that was the primary reason.
I got to tell you, there's plenty of people that can hear your voice right now that agree with you, and that, unfortunately, is the truth. I know that we have those defenders of the public school out there who listen to us on a regular basis, but there does come a point with parents where, you know, they've done the thing. Like some parents have decided, I'm going to pull my kids out of public school and go to charter schools. Others have said, I'm washing my hands of the whole system. I'm going to homeschool my kid myself. So, but the question that I wanted to ask the audience today was when do you think that, I know what my personal belief is, and I know who I learned it from and what I passed on to my kids, but I realize, you know, as I said, I'm older now. I'm much older. I realize that there are other generations behind me. What is it you teach your kid today in terms of when they stand up for themselves, whether it's going to be in school or later on out in, whether I said, you know, the playground and later on in the working world?
Basically, it's, you know, it's a lot different once you're an adult. Like you said, you could end up going to jail. So, just to be mindful of what the circumstances are, and try to handle the situation in a way that they can best protect themselves if anyone were to be called. You know, whatever that is, because every situation is different. But just trying to help them, because it's so hard, especially in my oldest nowadays. He's all about, oh my God, he's all about, well, they did this to me, I'm gonna, you know, blah blah blah. I'm like, where was all this when you were younger?
It happens at different stages. There's nothing you can do about it. It happens at different stages. You just gotta wait for it to one day pop and wake up, and you're like, okay, now this is what we got. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you called in and shared. Thanks for a lot for that this morning. Have a great morning.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Ms. Leona. Good morning, Ms. Leona. How are you? Wait, Jalen, did we lose Ms. Leona? We lost Ms. Leona. Go to Tim. Good morning, Tim. Wait, Jalen, are you there? There we go. Hello? Hello?
Did you hear me?
I can hear you now, Ms. Leona.
Good morning to you and Nancy and listeners. I would just like to say that the bullying time has changed and children has changed. I worked in the school system from 72 until 2001. And we always taught the children to meet up together and have a little round table and discuss the problem, and then have the parents to come in. But children and parents are different now. And you have to tell your children you got to learn how to stand up for yourself. And I often wonder, why do some children bully other children? Is it because they're jealous of the child? And I had to tell my daughter that you got to learn to stand for yourself. But after this young lady kept picking on her, I couldn't do it right now, but I went to the young lady's home and I had a few words with her, and she never bothered my child again. But I couldn't do that today. You got to, people are different and children.
Ms. Leona, folks are still doing it that way today. They've decided, listen, if the school's not going to handle it, I will show up on your doorstep and make sure that you know not to mess with my kid. Now, yeah, more people have guns now. I mean, you know, and more parents. Listen, Ethan Crumbly's parents are not the only one who went out and bought their kid a gun. Other parents know good and well that their kid has a gun to protect themselves. And then sometimes I got to tell you, as it worked out, y'all saw what happened in Chicago the other day with the 14-year-old. He had to use the gun to protect his mama. Yeah, his mama probably knew the kid had a gun. And he's 14 years old. And we can complain all we want about it. That's not proper and any of that other stuff. But listen, nobody else at that situation decided to protect that boy's mama. And there was at least a dozen people standing around. Nobody else decided to protect her. Nobody that worked at that restaurant decided to protect her. None of the people that stood in the line decided to protect her. The only person that could have protected her happened to be her son, and he happened to have a gun. So all of the folks that want to complain about you shouldn't have done it that way and that other stuff, Yeah, they need to go have a seat somewhere because that was the only person that was there to protect his mama that day. So thanks for calling this morning, Ms. Leona. I gotta tell you. Well, do me a favor, hold on a second, because I want to talk about that. We used to sit them all down at the table stuff. I want to talk to you about that in a minute. So give me 3 minutes to take this last break of the morning. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature is fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials. And, you don't know if something's going to help you or not, but I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. Before we went to break, Ms. Leona, you said that when you were teaching, you used to have, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, I'm just going to use the words, a peace summit where you would call the parents together and have them, the parents and the children, sit down at a table together. Did that ever work? Were you ever able to resolve whatever the conflict was between the victim and the bully simply by having them sit down and talk to each other?
Yes, it was resolved because we found out the young lady was jealous of the young lady, and that was the reason why she didn't like her. So when we got them all together with the parents and the counselors, we let them voice their opinion, and so it was solved that way. When children do certain things, they do it for a reason. And then you have some children that just love to bully other kids that they find out they won't stand for themselves. And that applies to grown-ups too.
I'm gonna say I really wanted to say that is you understand that grown-ups do the exact same thing. When you said you want to try and find out why, if you watch the video of that cop, well, he's now a former cop and now a defendant out in Warren. If you watched him, the video where he slapped the man, picked him up, threw him on the ground, threw him against the wall, threw him in. He did all of that stuff simply because he felt like I can, and I'm gonna get away with it. And even though the camera was running, I mean, the first thing the other cops that ran in there, they didn't grab him and pull him off of the kid or anything like that. Both of the other cops took part in holding the defenseless victim down on the ground. And he was protected then. The only reason that the chief and the county prosecutor decided to charge him is because they figured we better get ahead of this before the media winds up getting it. You know, they're not. I at no point in time, and as I said, I know both of them, but they're not. Neither one of them. This half-hearted. We're gonna charge him with a misdemeanor. Oh yeah, now maybe we should go on and fire him. You know, all of that says nothing about let's drop the charges. Let's call the mom of the kid. Let's say, we are very sorry. We will never let this happen. Let's tell we're going to tell the other two cops, you should never have ran in and grabbed the defendant. He didn't do anything but hit the ground with his face. And show me some real change. That cop got up and he's grown. This is not some school kid. He bullied the defendant simply because he could. And because he felt I'm protected and I'm going to be able to get away with it. And unfortunately, the other cops did not get the message, this never should happen. Or, you know, you should wind up stopping all of that. You know, there are good cops and bad cops. Well, when the good cops start stopping the bad cops from picking people up, slamming them on the ground, you'll have my vote. Until then, I'm not real sure what, you know, you're muddying up the pot. I got to tell you, you know, it's if somebody goes and they pee in a pool, the entire pool has pee in it. To me, there's not just pee in any one little part. So you've got to decide that you're going to get rid of the dirty ones and you're going to stop folks from bullying.
You're right. Absolutely. Have a great weekend. Love you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in this morning. Jalen, is Tim still there? Or did we lose him? If Tim's still there, go to Tim.
What do we gotta do to get out of this stage?
Be patient and hang tight, and it's your time, Tim. It's now the Tim Show.
Good morning, Jerry. Hey, let me give you a scenario. Would this be considered bullying? Hey, we made a deal. Where's the $5 million? I got my father sitting here next to me. If you don't pay up, I'm going to make your life a living hell.
Sounds like bullying to me.
Yeah, that's what our president and son are doing.
The president didn't have anything to do with it. The son is the one that allegedly typed the message. The president had nothing to do with it. Simply because you say it at the top of your lungs, oh, it's a Biden crime family, or Biden did this, or Biden. That doesn't make it true. And you know better, Tim. You know that simply trying to slander the current president. Now, actually, let me say this. Tim, you're a day late. That's not even the story anymore. The story now is they're complaining because Joe Biden uses a CPAP machine to sleep at night. Oh, my God, the president's on a breathing machine. He's about to die. When millions of Americans use a CPAP machine every single day, and they're not about to die. But you know what? The Republicans found something to run with, and you calling in talking about Hunter Biden, and they're talking about they actually are creating an issue out of whether or not the man sleeps with a CPAP machine.
Think you'll end up on the ticket, or you're going to get impeached? What's the Democrats say?
Did you actually, Tim? The man's not done a doggone thing to get impeached for, and so simply again throwing the word out over and over again. Oh, Biden's going to get impeached. Tim, do you honestly believe that? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that there's even one person listening to this show who you're going to influence by continuing to try to disparage the name of Joe Biden? I mean, I understand that. I understand your point is if I say it enough times, eventually people are going to think it's true, but you're not convincing anybody. you?
The Corleone family's going down. The dam is breaking, Gary.
Corleone family's been gone down, and Joe Biden hasn't done anything. And by the way, guess what? Everybody already knew that Hunter Biden was a drug addict. And if the strongest argument you can make against anybody is let's decide to blame the dope addict, you're pretty weak. Do you have a real candidate in mind? Do you have a real candidate in mind? And Valley, I see why am I going to Tim? Because nobody else was on the phone. That's why. Who's your real candidate? 313-778-7600. I'm out of time. Next up, State Representative Joelle Jones. As a hero member of the foundation, will be here to bring you information and inspiration, followed by today's Thursday, Attorney Anthony Adams. Tomorrow, Charlene Mitchell will be on. And tomorrow, I'm going to tell y'all should call in and ask Charlene Mitchell why she decided to attack Black women. Or y'all can call into Charlene's show tonight and ask her why she decided to attack Black women. You want to know what that's all about? Go to Charlene's page or go to Sherry K. Dagnoble's page and try to find out why Charlene Mitchell decided that she was better and that she was going to turn her nose up and attack all Black women. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Today is actually Thursday. Yeah, yesterday I messed up. Today is actually Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow I'll be here with Keisha. Y'all get out and have a great day. But listen, there's still going to be a horrible air quality day. Take your mask, or stay inside. And if you're in the car, roll those windows up and run the air conditioner. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to each and every one of y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Tim tries to overtalk everybody, and nobody can overtalk me. Have a good day.